All right, you guys, we are going to continue learning how to create the equation of a line. And today we're going to talk about scenario number 2, which is when I give you 2 points. So I want to do a quick review of everything we've done so far. This is on your pink sheet. If you don't have it out, that's fine. You can just look up here. So first of all, this is slope-intercept form, y is equal to mx plus b. This is standard form, and it has 3 rules. A can't be negative. It has to be in the order that you see it. And there are no fractions or decimals available or in the equation. Also, to find the y-intercept, this is the formula. To find the slope in standard form, that's the formula. Last class, we started with scenario number 1, which was this one here, and that's when you have a point and a slope, and we put that information into this equation, and then we solved. Today, we're going to be learning scenario number 2, which is when we have 2 points. And when we have scenario number 2, which is 2 points, we have to do an additional step. What we have to do is figure out the slope first and then put it into this equation. So scenario number 2 is definitely a little bit trickier than scenario number 1. Let's try a couple of questions. This one right here. Oh, that one, the first one I put up was a poster from before. All right, you guys, if you're on your phones, just put them away so you can concentrate. Here is the breakdown. We're going to start with 2 points. We're going to label one of them x1 and y1. We're going to label the other one x2 and y2. We're going to put both of the points into this formula. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then we're going to use this formula or this equation to figure out the equation of a line. Give me a second. All right. Example number 1. Find the equation of a line that's going through points A, which is 2, negative 4, and B, which is negative 3, 6. Express the equation in slope-intercept form and standard form. So if you take a look at the rules at the top, the first thing we need to do is we need to label our points x1, y1, x2, and y2. So I'm going to start by writing them up here. 2, negative 4, and and I'm going to label the first one x1 and y1, and I'm going to label the second one x2 and y2. I'm then going to start with the equation of a slope, which is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Does this look familiar to you guys? Remember when we did this? Okay, go ahead, put those 2 points into the slope formula and see if you can figure out what the slope is. So I'm going to get 6 minus negative 4 over negative 3 minus 2, 10 over negative 5. And I'm doing this one kind of fast because we have done this before, so hopefully you guys remember this. And I get a slope of negative 2. Did you guys get that as well? Okay. So this is the only part that's new for scenario 2. Once you figure out the slope, you have 2 points and a slope, and you actually end up having too much information. So what we're going to do is we are going to select one. We're definitely going to be using the slope, which is negative 2. And we're going to take the 2 points that we've been given and select one of them to do the rest of the question. To select the point, pick the numbers that are smaller, pick the numbers that have less negative signs, just pick the easier ones. I would say the easier one in this case is 2, negative 4, but there's really no right or wrong answer. Either point you pick, you'll get the right answer. And now you're going to label this x1 and y1. And now the rest of the question is like scenario 1, because remember in scenario 1, we did the slope and a point. We're going to do the same thing now for the rest of the step. Okay, so we're going to get, we start with y2 minus y1 is equal to m bracket x2 minus x1. We're going to get y2 minus negative 4 is equal to negative 2 bracket x2 minus 2. Do you guys remember when we did this yesterday? Does it seem familiar? Okay, so you see how I put in m for slope and then x1 and y1 for the points? I'm going to clean up the signs. I'm going to get rid of the subscripts, and I'm going to distribute all in the same step. So this is going to be y plus 4 is equal to negative 2x plus 4. How do I get this into y is equal to mx plus b form, slope-intercept form? I'll just move the 4 to the other side. So it's going to be y is equal to negative 2x plus 4 minus 4, which is going to give me a final answer of just y is equal to negative 2x. We need to also change this to standard form. So what's one step we can take to convert this to standard form? Peyton? Yeah, if I move the negative 2x to the other side, what I'm going to get is 2x plus y is equal to 0. This is in standard form because, look, 2 is positive. It's in the order xy constant, and there are no fractions or decimals. So that's it. That's the end of the question. Standard form, and we're done. Oh, whoops. Yeah. All right, example number 2, just like last class, example number 2 is a little bit harder because I now have fractions and I have, like, they're just a little bit messier. So let's try this question using the exact same steps. So we're gonna find the equation of a line through points A, which is 9 over 5, comma 3 over 5, and B, which is 2, comma 1. We're gonna express the answer in slope-intercept form and standard form. All right, so step 1 is I am going to write down the points again. So 9 over 5 and 3 over 5. And the other point is 2, comma 1. And then you're going to label one of them x1 and y1 and the other one x2 and y2. So x1 and y1, x2 and y2. I can write this neater. We will write out our formula for slope, which is m. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is going to be 1 minus 3 over 5 all over 2 minus 9 over 5. You guys remember back in the day when we were like fractions crazy? We did all that fraction work. Fractions is basically never going to go away. Like literally never. Go ahead and try to solve this question. I'll put up the solutions and I'll do attendance while you guys are continuing. I think I can squeeze this all into one. Oh my gosh. It's frozen. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to write it here and then I'll fix it later. So 2 over 5 times 5 over 1, which is equal to 2. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to write that information again at the top of the page. So slope is equal to 2. Which one of those points do you think is easier to use when doing the next part? The crazy fractions or the really nice 2, comma 1? I think I gave it away when I said the really nice 2, comma 1. So we're going to use that. We're going to call it x1 and y1. And then our formula is y2 minus y1 is equal to m bracket x2 minus x1. And then go ahead and solve. like completely frozen. All right. Did you guys get y is equal to 2x minus 3? Or did I do something wrong? Let me know. Good. And then in order for us to get this into standard form, what we're going to do is, what do we have to do? We just have to make one change to get this into standard form. We just need to move the y over to the other side in between the other two terms. So it's going to be 2x minus y minus 3. And those are our two equations. The first one is in y is equal to mx plus b form, and the other one is in 0 is equal to 2x standard form. Questions? You guys okay? All right, last question. Find the equation of a line with an undefined slope and through the point -4, 7. Express the equation in standard form. The reason why I wanted to throw this in here, I know it doesn't really seem like the questions we've been doing, is because how do you put an undefined slope into this formula? y2 minus y1 is equal to mx2 minus x1. How do you put an undefined slope into m? Can you do that? Is there a numerical value? No, you can't. So whenever you have a question like this, where it's like an undefined slope, the only thing you can do is actually draw a picture and solve it that way. So I just wanted to bring your attention to this because sometimes the formula will not always work. Like sometimes the method I'm teaching you is not going to work and you have to go back to the old school method of just drawing it out. So let's draw this out. And by the way, we've actually done this question before when we did horizontal and vertical lines. You may not remember it, but here's how we solved it. We drew an XY plane. We figured out where -4, 7 is, which is going to be approximately -4, and let's say this is 7. And if something has an undefined slope, what kind of line is it? Is it a horizontal line or is it a vertical line? Good. It's going to be a vertical line going through -4. How do I figure out the equation of this line? Well, it's going through the x-axis at the point -4. However, that equation is not in standard form. What do I do to make it into standard form? I just have to move the -4 over to the other side, and I'm going to get x plus 4 is equal to 0. And that's the final answer. All right. Let me tell you what you guys are going to be working on in class. And by the way, just like before, I'm gonna check this time. I forgot last time, but I want to see this done before we go for lunch. So you have practice questions 1A and 1B, 2A and 2B, and then question 3. All the answers are at the bottom. You guys have a ton of time today, so more than enough time. And then let me tell you about the EQAO as well. Let me stop this.